Well, this is why we asked before we go live.
Yeah. Been on Badger State board for 32 years.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, as soon as we get a couple of numbers up by that eyeball, we'll start doing our thing and having a great time over here.
Okay,
so,
perfect.
What night do you hook?
Tonight.
You hook tonight, and you're taking time to interview us on the night you hook. That's awesome.
It's everybody asks, "Is it ready to go?" And I say, "Well, I'll tell you at the end of the match."
Yeah,
ready or not. I don't know.
Ask me afterwards.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Well, no, I wasn't.
That's funny. Yep. Well, hey guys, welcome back. We're at it again. Louisville, Kentucky, National Farm Machinery Show 2024, Indoor Championship Tractor Pulling. And we are here in booth 3194 with the Beer Money Pulling team. I'm Mike Idle, back chit-chatting with you again. Hey, we've got a fun one here. We're talking pro stock pulling. We're talking Badger State pulling. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Greg Elsing, the pilot of the T8 Tomcat. Greg, how are we doing today, sir?
Good.
Awesome. Thanks for hanging out with us. So we're going to do our homework really quick, guys. We're going to dig in and we're going to figure some things out. But I know you've seen this tractor. When you talk pro stocks with me, you're always thinking the big green ones. And then, of course, you got the red one out there with Tim Kaine and the orange one with Braden Schrammick. But you know that T8 Tomcat and that New Holland caught our eye last year. What's it like pulling a blue tractor out there with all these guys?
You feel like you're outnumbered. I mean, yeah, we were going to call it the underdog at one time. But
the underdog.
We had a lot of names for it, but we ended up with T8 Tomcat. Dirk Drury named it for me.
Sure.
We were trying to make sure it was right, but, you know, when you're thinking about it, naming it, I had a bunch of names, and every time it's on the top of my head, I had a list on my phone. I
Sure,
put it on there.
of course.
And then you got done, and it wasn't even one of the names on the list for you.
Sure. I talked to a guy earlier today. How fun is this story? His tractor is unnamed. It hasn't named it yet. They didn't have a name. It's sitting in the staging at Toma, Wisconsin. He calls up. He calls his wife. He goes, "I've thought of a name." He's sitting there. He's going to hook in like 5 hooks. He says, "Call the Crow's Nest. Here's what we're calling the tractor." So he named his tractor about 5 hooks before he pulls at a super national pull. It doesn't always have to be at the top of the list. Talk to us about that beautiful blue. Ron Stone always tells us about this color. We've got a guy that pulls with us, Mark Robertson, the Spanky's Toy, calls it Maserati blue. Is that the correct color that you can get here?
Yep. That is what, when you order the tractor from New Holland, that's, I seen that first tractor. It took us 7 years to build this tractor.
For sure.
So I seen that first tractor at Hennessy Implements lot. They're all paid. Man, I love that color. I said, man, I hope we can color it that when we got it done, and we did, and it turned out.
It is drop dead gorgeous. I saw it at the farm show for the first time I'd ever seen your vehicle, probably 2 or 3 years ago. I'm not entirely sure the year. I was live streaming the farm show at home. I saw it. I love the name. I love the color. We have a little hobby farm at home. Just got 15 head of cows, and we feed with a Ford New Holland. So now anytime I go out there, the closest thing I get to go pulling is when I feed cows on our New Holland. I call it the T8 Tomcat. I go out there and I say, "Hey, hon, I'm going to go drive the Tomcat." And she just shakes her head and wonders if the cows are going to get fed or not. So you pull. Talk to us about where you pull during the summer.
Mostly when I pull is Badger State. I've been president of Badger State for over 20 years. I've been on the board for 32 years.
Sure.
And just kind of, it's hard for me to go somewhere else. And it is. And it's all close. All our pulls for me are within maybe the farthest was 2.5 hours.
Okay. Excellent.
So we stay in our area, and just like any other business, our club has, we have good help, but sometimes something happens, and somebody's got to be there to cover it.
For sure.
So we just, it's a management thing. You got to be there. It's not easy.
Yep. We talk about that a lot with the interviews, and people have stopped by. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's a group effort. It's a family effort. A lot of people going in to make this happen. Now, not following Badger State as much, being a little bit farther south than you guys, you're pulling here. Are there any things mechanically that you had to do different, or are you at a pretty much identical setup when we talk about cubic inch, when we talk about charger size? Are you like everybody else, or does your organization require a different setup?
We follow the Lucas Oil rules to a T.
Okay,
I mean,
perfect.
Why reinvent the wheel? And that way you can go anywhere and pull. Roll stock is pretty much, everywhere is the same thing.
Yep.
We did put a turbo size limit on this here finally, a 6 inch exhaust, a 6.5 intake.
Sure.
So it's It is what it is. That's the biggest turbo out there now.
I was gonna say that's just big. No one's gonna pull this weekend running anything bigger than that at the moment. Now I've heard people talk about once they invent a 7-inch one, and once someone learns how to spin a 7-inch one, they'll go there. But for now, that's where everybody's at.
About 15 years ago, I was here at this pole. We had a meeting with the Pro Stock guys when the 5-inch turbo came out. That was a monster. Right?
Oh, sure.
That was a monster. And we sat in that meeting, and there was probably 15, 20 guys in there. And they're like, oh, we're Pro Stock. We're Pro Stock. We don't need any limits. We don't want limits. I'm telling you what, 80% of them guys aren't pulling today.
Yeah, sure. That's interesting.
They're not. I mean, but the guys, we were at the Lucas Oil Banquet meeting, and there's probably 15 Pro Stock guys there.
Yep.
And we all agreed, let's make the rules what it is right now, the biggest one, so they just can't get bigger.
Yep.
Granted, they'll do like Super Farm and Limited Pro, and they'll build better wheels within them parameters now. But eventually, it just like them classes, they won't come out with something new every year.
Yep.
They'll get it there. Actually, I don't even have a 6.5. I've got a 6.4, a smaller turbo. I break enough stuff with that one. I'm not putting that big one on.
I have heard a lot of people talk about that. Big boy parts mean big boy breakage. So sometimes, and then you're writing big boy checks on top of that. So
Robbie Lemke's motors do hold together pretty well. It's just when you start pushing it a little bit too much, and that's when I've had problems.
Yeah,
so I just leave it. I leave it the same for Summers I do here.
Yours has a Lemke motor in it?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Lemke, tried and true, knows what he's doing. He's done so much just for that class as a whole over the years, and he's a big supporter, I know, of truck and tractor pulling in the state of Wisconsin.
And
he does a lot for you guys. Tell us about everything he does for you.
He does a lot for NTPA and Lucas Oil. The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling series. He's the class sponsor for Pro Stock.
Sure.
So he's in there, and he sponsors. I know he sponsors Toma. He sponsors Hillsboro a bunch of money. I mean, he's great. And I used to be with Schnickers, and they're great guys, but Robbie lives 1 hour from me.
Absolutely, sure.
And you've gotta. It's just too hard if you break the drive. Rodney Dennis lives 6.5 hours from me. So
the logistics just make sense.
It does. And Fair Valley Performance, Dennis Fry is half a mile from me.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot. I just decided I know maybe something better, something else. I don't know. I don't care.
Sure.
I'm staying within what I can do. I don't want to drive.
Well, I mean, you can talk about different options and whatnot. The name Lemke carries a lot of, that's a competitive name. It's you're not walking away, you're walking away with a tall setup regardless. Yeah. Talk to me about your 2023 season. Did you have any personal highlights? I'm talking major passes, big wins, something that really stands out to you from this season.
No, I had the motor out 4 times.
Yeah. Okay. And on those 4 times though, were they A to B passes? And you kept it in bounds and kept it together.
Yeah, when it does run, I've got a couple wins there, but it just I couldn't get 3 passes out of it, and we just finally at the end of the season backed the timing down and said I can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
We're just going to run it and get done and figure something out this winter. We thought we were going to get it figured out before the show here, but we didn't. We're taking the motor out immediately after this.
Okay.
And it's getting the new parts in.
Okay. So we're going to overhaul. We're going to update. Louisville's funny. A lot of people I've talked to, it's either the place where we're right at the end and then thinking about kicking off the summer season with something new, or it's we've took the months and we're starting something brand new, but we've never seen it before. So it seems like you're always on kind of one end of the calendar or the other there at Louisville. Yeah. So
I don't want to come. The first time I pulled my tractor was here, and we made a test pass and spun a bearing.
Sure.
The first time I came here, so we never even got to pull. I'm a true believer in run what you ran last summer.
Yeah.
So you know where you're at.
I like that as a fan too, because that's essentially the vehicle that got here. So we're watching what happened, and then the drivers are comfortable and familiar with it. This is the championship tractor pull. Test and tune, not everyone's got their own approach, but we want to see that comfortable run going down the track. Let's talk about other hats you wear as well. I was told off camera, Badger State, you're the president. Is that correct?
Yep.
What does that entail? That's a great organization from what I hear. Kind of brag about that organization and tell me what your day-to-day job looks like a little bit.
Well, this year's the 50th year for Badger State Tractor Pull.
Awesome.
50 years, and we're trying to do something special for it. We don't know why yet. I think it's just going to be a special hat or, a patch or something.
Sure.
We don't know yet. But anyways, I sign all the events. I sit in on all the rules meeting. I sit on the rules meeting for Lucas Oil Series, and then all the classes that are on the Lucas Oil Series, we follow the same exact rules.
Yes.
But we have hot farm, you know, and we have light limited classes, and never really 2 classes I think that aren't on a silver series or a Lucas Oil Pro series.
For sure.
Light limited and hot farm. But we've got a great class of them. We've got like 14, 15 of the light limiteds, and there's 20 hot farms, and we probably got 18 to 20 limited pros, the 4-1s, you know, and we're a little light on light pros, you know, the 540 light pros. We've only got 5, 6 of them. Sometimes
the numbers across all organizations, light pros came out around 2018, I want to say, and everyone just thought this is the new class. And at first, we just thought there were going to be numbers like crazy in that. But I did notice this year, it seemed like the organizations were struggling to really get above 5 or 6 pullers at a time in that light pro class. It's an awesome concept with that 540 cubic inch. But that one it does kind of look like we've been fighting up the uphill battle lately.
Yeah. I don't believe in just keeping making more classes for anything. Anytime somebody comes up with something new, you know, why build a new class?
Sure.
I mean, we've got 9 classes. If you can't fit something in there which you want to build, you know, and you can put components in the light pros and the pro stocks, you know, so you know, just you've got a light pro component. It started last year. This is the second year for it, I think, and we've got some guys switched over, but the cast tractor can still compete there.
Yes, it can.
They can.
Absolutely.
So, whereas in pro stock, they're not going to.
That's true. I say if you're not running component there, you're really going to struggle.
Yeah.
So Badger State, do you guys pull primarily and only in Wisconsin, or do you dip into Illinois and Iowa and other states
We're
as well?
in Illinois and Iowa. Yeah. We have 2 events: Dubuque, Iowa, and we just got Monticello, Iowa.
Monticello, Iowa.
That was a region or a Grand National NTB event. We signed it this year. Well, Jason Round lives right out there, and the Coates boys.
Okay. Yes, I know where you're referring to. Sure.
They're all right there, and they want any place you pull, you need to include the local guys.
Of course.
There you do, and it's hard to do sometimes because if say a class got 20 members in it, and they all have their own pull, pro stocks aren't going to 20 hooks. We can't do it. So if somebody's going to give up, you know, when you want to do what you can.
Sure.
So you know, it is what it is, right?
Yep, absolutely.
That's my motto. It is what it is.
It's not what it's not. That's what I've been saying. So you ran a little bit this season. You stayed busy making Badger State the awesome organization that it is. You're going to pull later on tonight.
Yep.
Man, you seem calm and cool and ready to go. Walk us through your thought process of both getting mentally prepared to drive in Freedom Hall tonight and any little adjustments or tinkerings you've done to prepare for indoor pulling.
I've got a brand new set of parts tires on. That's the only thing to me is not because you know you order them and I'm not a guy that can afford to have 4 sets of tires. If I buy a set of tires, that's what I'm going to use.
Yeah, you bought them to hook them to the dirt, so let's go put some dirt on them.
My good friend Randy Brew, one of our tractors in pro stock last night, ran them and got second. He sat in first place right up to I think Masterson was the last. Darrell drove the River Rat. And he beat him. I think he was the last hook. But that tractor there, we always consider if you got second to that one and he won, you were the winner too.
Yeah, absolutely.
that's
absolutely. That the River Rat, and then of course we saw it last night too with the Tinker Toy. They have been on a whole different cloud. They've been on a whole different cloud here lately.
Yeah, them guys know what they're doing.
People have been referring to Freedom Hall as the house that Masterson built with the Grandview gangsters, you know. So yeah, they know what they're doing. But the game's a little different too. You don't have to win tonight. Nope. You've just got to make top three. Just knowing that, and some drivers have said yes, some drivers have said no. Does that affect your driving style?
No.
That's been my common response.
Last year I was third hook, and I sat in third place on the bubble and had to watch 9 guys come charge. I just sat in a truck. That's harder than anything.
I was gonna say sometimes when you hook early and you just look back there and good iron after good iron after good iron.
Simons were back there, you know, and they're killers too, you know. And I don't. There was some. I don't remember who. But I just thought at any moment. And Travis Wildman was the last hook, and I good friend of mine. Wildman's are, and I thought, man, if I'm going to get bumped out, I hope it's Travis.
Sure,
you know, I do. But he got that close. But it's good. Tonight is his turn. We said.
Tonight it's his turn.
I want you to win tonight, but then if we both get in, I want to win Saturday night.
Well, that's the goal, right? You want both be up in there.
Yeah, that'd be fair, though, right?
I think it'd be excellent. I love it. You know, and it is easy. You think you can always sit here and pick a winner. People are like, oh, well, this guy or that guy. If you're at Louisville, you're great. If you're at Louisville, you're great. It's an indoor track. You don't have that extra 100 foot to play with. Right. The wagon is heavy as all get out. That Bauer sled is coming for you. anything can happen.
Yeah.
We pull for a reason. You cannot just assume that anything's going to happen.
Right. Everybody asks you, "Are you ready to go?" I
No.
feel like I'm ready to go, but I'll tell you at the end of the pass if I was ready or not. I don't know.
They say, ask me if I'm ready after I'm complete. You
Right,
know,
yeah,
so
It
that's
started
wonderful.
and drove around.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. How many years have you pulled at Freedom Hall?
I pulled a Super Farm, my red tractor the boys pull now, in like 2013, and then I've been here since 2017 with the blue one.
Awesome. So you've got quite a bit of experience in there.
I've had the same seats in Section 313 since 1988.
So you are no stranger to Freedom Hall whatsoever.
I missed 1 year since then. 1991, I was in the National Guard, and we were loading up to go to Desert Storm, and I didn't have to go, but we were activated and on ready. And,
right, of course.
Yep, and then it was all over. I went quick.
So let me ask you this. One thing I hear pretty frequently when I'm up in the stands and the fans were down there looking, and you'll hear these three lines pretty often, and this is kept track of. Someone will say, oh, that's an NTPA tractor. Well, Outlaw's got so many in the final. Oh, PPL has so many. And people kind of get stuck on thinking of the big three national level organizations. When you're down there as the president of Badger State Pulling, do you kind of stick your chest out with a little bit more pride and say, I'm doing this for my regional level or my state level? And, we are here, so when we park it in the sand and when we go to the finals, don't forget about us. Pulling is great at all levels. And given the right night, we can compete at any point.
All the stickers come off the Badger State tractors except for the Badger State sticker. You watch that side, you do.
That's good. That is absolutely awesome.
Our guys are proud of that, of what we do. The club is held together. We've got 180 members, 116 vehicles in our club. That's
an excellent organization.
That is.
How many pulls do you guys promote in any given summer?
Anywhere from 30 to 35.
So this is a busy organization as well. You bring it to the fans. This makes pulling more accessible. It gives people a reason to get excited. You called it, like you said, you could have called it the underdog. I don't think it's an underdog. It's out there to compete just as hard as anyone else out there. We absolutely love everything about it. This has been fun. Your passion is through the roof. You're everything about tractor pulling that's right. Anybody you want to thank, any sponsors, any family members, who do you want to give a shout out to on the internet out there?
I want to thank my boys who won Ship Shawana with the 4-1.
My
son's first win ever.
Congratulations. That's awesome. The Super Bowl of single chargers.
Yep.
I did not come up with that.
I was going to tell you a story about naming that, though. I was sitting in 1991. I was sitting at home eating a bowl of, before I had kids, I was sitting at home eating a bowl of cereal, and the Thunder Clutch Whirly gig was on DuckTales.
Sure.
I said, that's a pretty cool name. I'm going to name it Thunder Clutch.
Dude, I love it. Thunder Clutch. I always said if I ever build a pulling tractor, it would be called the Clutch Duster or the Clutch Breaker, because my clutch work wouldn't be very good, and I would just sit there and ride the thing the whole time. I would be the Clutch Destroyer. It would be what I would be. So
I just want to thank Hennessy Implement for sponsoring my tractor to be here, and New Holland. It's been great.
Of course. Absolutely.
And my family, and it's it is what it is.
Absolutely. It is what it is. Well, I've been telling everybody, we hope you make the finals. I see no reason why you couldn't be able to. Thank you for representing the great state of Wisconsin, the Badger State tractor pullers, and everything that you do for this sport. Thank you so much for being on here with us. Good luck.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. Thanks
for coming, everybody.
Yep.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, guys.
See you later.
Perfect. That 20 minutes disappeared. That was